Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. This is for education purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the 4 victims rest in peace. Condolence to their families. I'm really aware that I've spoken a lot about the Banfield and the grub truck. But that's because I haven't still finished analyzing them properly. Every time I watch these clips, I have more questions. If you pay attention to the guy at the right hand corner, the one with his arms crossed, he's one of the frat boys. Pay attention to how his arms are always crossed. He never puts it straight down. The officer doesn't even ask them to take their hands off their pockets and to stand straight. From the very beginning, I've been wondering about the shirt he's wearing. The shirt looks like a female shirt to me. We all are aware that females wear their shirt buttons on the right-hand side. For different reasons. They usually say that females have their buttons on the right-hand side so that it's easier for mothers to breastfeed. They say that men have their buttons on the left-hand side in case of a sword fight. I found that a bit strange, but that is what Google says. And these are just myths. I'm not really sure if they're true. But my question is, these 3 young gentlemen and Saeed were at the Banfield. The Banfield call was made at 3:01. So somebody called the police. Somebody called it in and said that there were 3 young men that were intoxicated. They could have been drinking, but they don't look very intoxicated to me. They weren't stumbling. So I wonder if the Banfield was about distracting the police and nothing else, so that the 4 figures could buy their time and run back to the frat. The 4 figures ran at 3:14 in the morning. So if this guy is wearing a female shirt, and you can see it's much smaller than him, it's more made for a small size person. My question is, could he have borrowed the shirt from Maddie, Bethany Funk, Zana, someone petite, someone really small? And it's just a question. Don't come for me. If you pay attention to his hand, when I zoom in, his hand doesn't look right. Pay attention to this. All I've done is zoomed in. Do you see how red his hand is? Could you have got a bite mark, a knife mark, an injury on his hand? And could that be the reason he keeps on covering his hand? I can't clearly see if his buttons on the right hand or left hand side, but it's just weird that a tall man like him is wearing such a small shirt. He keeps on looking towards the bushes. And if you remember, that is where Maddie's black coat was found, which I've always pointed out. If you look at the timelines with these three young men and the Banfield police stop, it lines up more with Xana and Ethan. I've noticed YouTube creators are now saying that Xana and Ethan were the first to be unalived. And I'm happy for that, but that is what I've been saying from the very beginning, that these were two separate attacks. Xana and Ethan were deleted first, Maddie and Kaylee were deleted later. Because when the crowd was yelling Xana and Ethan's name at the grub truck, the timing lined more between 2 to 2:20 to 2:15. All these three guys look really anxious. I'm sure it's anxious enough to be stopped by the police. Let's be fair. But I believe this is more than anxiousness that they've been stopped by the police. I believe this is just my personal, humble opinion that these three know more than they're saying. Saeed walks in and says, "What's up?" to the officer. When have you ever heard the public what's upping the police? Pay attention to his hands. His shirt, even the way the buttons are opened. If he did not unbutton those three above buttons, then it would have been obvious that it is a female shirt. Someone smaller than him is shirt. That's what I believe. Now the middle guy, his shirt it looks too big for him. In my opinion, it's an oversized shirt. I don't know what goggles he has on. If it's the night goggles, the electrician's goggles, he has some kind of goggles on. And I've always pointed out he has one glove on. Some people say it's a reflection, but it isn't. Because when you don't see him having the one glove on, you will notice that that hand is always in his pocket. So this man in the middle, in my opinion, has one glove on. One glove was found at the crime scene by Chris McDonough from the interview room. And Chris McDonough was the one who caught the part in the body cam where you hear a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." That was 2:52 a.m. These three young men came from the direction of King Road, Taylor Avenue, because they were stopped at Banfield. Where did they come from? Let's not forget, they've been stopped because they're under 20. They're not 21, so they can't be legally drinking liquor or anything like that. So if they're 19 and 20, like I assume, they would fit more at the age of Xana and Ethan, not Kaylee and Maddie. Which frat do they belong to? The Delta Tau Delt? Or the Alpha Phi? They were crossing the field and there's a couple of frats there. Pay attention to the one in the middle. You can clearly see he has a glove on. I don't believe that's a reflection. He has one glove. Were these boys investigated is my question. But let's not forget the police said there's nothing to see. In the Banfield body cam or the grub truck, they debunked everything. But why does he have a glove on? And why does he have these night goggles or glasses on?
Hey, is that beer? Is that beer in your hand?
Yeah, I'm 21.
You got your ID on you?
I don't.
Okay.
I'll take it back to my apartment actually.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Huh? No, they just took off. I told them to stop it. I'm not going to push it. Yeah, you got your ID on you?
I don't.
Okay. I'm going to grab your info just because you got beer and you're walking around with it.
No, it's closed.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I live like right now. I'll take it back to you.
No, we're just doing alcohol enforcement and running around with beer across the street.
No worries. Sorry about that.
You're good. What's your last name?
C-H-I.
C-H-I.
K-H.
K-H.
Space.
Yep.
A-L-I.
A-L-I.
Yep.
Okay. First name?
Said. S-A-I-D. Like said.
A-I-D. Middle initial?
One.
Okay. Date of birth?
2001. Like, one.
I just pulled that one off. Awesome birthday.
Yeah, lucky birthday.
You got a driver's license?
I don't have it.
What? No, in general.
I have one, yeah.
What state is it through?
Idaho.
Idaho. Okay. I'm just going to...
So you heard Said clearly saying that he lives behind there. He pointed out towards Taylor Avenue. That's quite interesting. Now remember the last picture that was seen of the surviving 2 roommates and the 4 victims taken on earlier that day? It was taken at Taylor Avenue on the 2nd floor because you can see the white tree steps. I wonder if they were chilling with Said and if something went wrong. So Said just barged into an active alcohol enforcement stop. Quite interesting. Was he there to distract the police? Because these 3 boys could have been carrying something. Because let's not forget, when these 3 boys were asked by the police to stop, they continued running in the field. What did they throw in the field? Could it have been the weapon? We have Maddie's black coat, allegedly, behind the fire extension. His hand looks injured to me. I wonder if he's covering the other hand because he has injuries there. (3:03). They're watching the pictures on their phone. I wonder if this was when the crimes were actually happening. These people were sharing the Snapchats on Geo Snapchat, I heard. They were taking pictures on VSOP. That's where Dylan took pictures with Kim Kelly and deleted them or put them on private. What is so interesting that they are watching, Saeed is watching, Jovito is watching, half of the grub truck are watching. Like Kaylee's mother and father said, Kaylee was found in the sitting position, and that is what Saeed was watching. Allegedly. They're not even scared. The police are actually there, and this is what's going on. This shirt is too small for him. Even the pant doesn't look right. Could these people have been involved in the crime and then change their outfits? The clothes don't make sense. One shirt is oversized, the other one is undersized. And they both look very nervous. So who called the police on them? The police didn't just come. The call at 3:01 was called for intoxicated youngins running around. I don't believe he owns this shirt. Could he have borrowed it from Bethany? Or took it from Maddie? Or Zano? I keep on remembering what Ashley Banfield said. Her sources told her that DM and BF, or DM actually heard rummaging upstairs, and she thought it was the frat boys. Now these boys are from the frats. I don't know which frat, but they're from the frats. They're Zan and Ethan's age. He looks very nervous. Pay attention to his shirt. It doesn't fit him. It is too small. I'm sure some people may think, why are you so occupied with the Banfield and what is it about his shirt? He's just wearing a shirt. But these are important questions. Because the suspect or suspects could have gone, did this horrific crimes, and changed the outfit. And obviously common sense would tell you that there are 6 females living in the house, so they wouldn't have a chance to mail shirts unless Ethan left some of his clothes there. Interestingly enough, he has bushy eyebrows. So does Saeed. And I'm mentioning that because that was the description Dylan Mortensen gave us, which I believe was fake. But look at bushy eyebrows. There's a couple of people who have bushy eyebrows here. Besides Brian Christopher Koberger. Saeed has bushy eyebrows too. So if this is about bushy eyebrows, Dylan Mortensen could have seen anyone, if she's telling the truth. But let's not forget, DM was in a hallucination state, I